Battle Through the Firmament. Great World. Chapter 475. Old Friend. You are Xiao Ling. Xiaoyan thought quickly and remembered who the pretty woman in red in front of him was. He said softly, "You still remember?" Xiao Ling's beautiful eyes narrowed into slits when she heard this. She revealed her canine teeth and nodded with a smile. Back then, when he and Xiao Hao went to Yuanyi City to pick up Xiaoyan, the latter was merely a monic spirit level. Now, in just 2 to 3 years, he had actually reached the Monic Emperor. You are really amazing. You have helped Yunlo Academy obtain the #1 position in the 4 academies competition. Xiao Ling looked at the man in black in front of her and gently shook her long hair. She looked at the man in black in her eyes. There was a hint of astonishment in her eyes. It was a competition that even her big brother Xiao Yi found difficult. This man from the lower realm, Xiaoyan, was able to shine brightly in the 4 academies competition. You all know about the 4 academies competition? Xiaoyan asked in surprise when he came back to his senses. He thought that only the 4 academies knew about the 4 academies competition, but he didn't expect that the Xiao clan in the distance would receive the news. Of course, the 4 academies competition is a grand event in the star field. The result will be announced to all the major powers in the star field in the form of star domain guardians. A few days ago, Grandpa received the message. Your name should have spread to the ears of all the leaders of the major powers these days. Xiao Ling covered her mouth and smiled. Her beautiful eyes blinked. She clearly remembered that when she heard the sage from the heavens, the great elder, who had always been in shock, sighed repeatedly. Big brother Xiao Yi was silent for a few days and did not take a single step out of the room. Oh right, who are the fighting monarchs that came from fighting Dao Qi continent? Xiaoyan took a deep breath and impatiently asked. His eyes sparkled with excitement. His calm heart was beating rapidly at this moment, as if he had failed to live up to his expectations. There are 2 of them. One is called Lei Ying, and the other is called Yan Jin. When you left the Xiao clan, your grandfather gave the order to have the people of the Xiao clan stay in the new sovereign domain. When they saw the people from the fighting Dao Qi continent, bring them here. A few months ago, these 2 people were brought to Xiao City after advancing from the fighting Dao Qi continent. Lei Ying, Yan Jin. Hearing this, although Xiaoyan's face was filled with joy, he couldn't help but feel some regret in his heart. Initially, he thought that Xiao Sao would advance as well, and even Yao Lao might come as well. What a pity. After the 2 of them came, grandfather immediately saw that the 2 of them were not the descendants of the Xiao clan. He did not ask much and only sent someone to tell them a lot about the big world. Including the cultivation method, both of them had very stubborn tempers. They weren't hypocritical at all. If it wasn't for Grandpa's instructions, I reckon they would have been beaten up by the people of their clan. Xiao Ling giggled and turned around to leave. Xiaoyan also quickly followed. Of course, these 2 are the top experts in the fighting Dao Qi continent. They won't be able to take it if they come here. Xiaoyan smiled bitterly and shook his head without saying anything. He had experienced the lowest level of things in the past. After coming to the great world, soon, he became familiar with this place, and his disposition also accepted the fact that he was at the bottom of the hierarchy. As for Yan Jin and Lei Ying, they were used to being in high positions in the fighting Dao Qi continent. They couldn't accept the fact that they had become the weakest existences in the great world. It was understandable. After hearing your name, the 2 of them couldn't wait to see you. Xiao Ling led Xiaoyan to a place where there were fewer people. If she had been nice to her recognition of Xiaoyan's strength, the 4 academies competition had completely proved Xiaoyan's strength. There was no doubt about it. 2 old friends, long time no see. I also miss you. Xiaoyan smiled. His mind also began to ponder. At that time, he could ask the 2 of them if they were willing to join the Yunlo Academy. Given his current status in the academy, it was sufficient for them to have resources that far exceeded ordinary people in the initial stage of cultivation. If they were unwilling, he could only respect the wishes of the 2 of them. He followed Xiao Ling to an empty corner. The latter flipped her hand and took out a teleportation bead. The bead shattered and Xiaoyan and Xiao Ling disappeared from where they stood at the same time. Xiao City, the capital of Taiching Mansion, was also the base camp of Xiao clan. This place was unlike the other cities in Taiching Mansion. The city walls extended continuously, like a giant dragon crawling for thousands of miles, surrounding Xiao City. Xiao City was divided into the inner and outer city. The outer city could be used for outsiders to tour and stop. In the inner city, only the core disciples of Xiao clan, or the disciples of the side branches that were summoned by the elders of Xiao clan could enter. Otherwise, it was equivalent to treason, and the crime couldn't be forgiven. Swoosh! In a large hall in the inner city of the Xiao clan, a white light flashed. Xiaoyan and Xiao Ling appeared in the main hall, and immediately attracted the attention of the Xiao clan's iron guards stationed in the main hall. Miss! Along with the sound of iron armor colliding, a burly and cold man strode over and slightly cupped his hands towards Xiao Ling. The man was wearing a black armor with purple light circulating on it. Clearly, it was not an ordinary item. This is. Without waiting for Xiao Ling to speak, the man's cold eyes looked towards Xiaoyan. There was a trace of vigilance on his face. This is the destiny of the Great Elder. Xiaoyan, who we core disciples pay attention to when we go to different cities, I met him in Zhengyang City. I was ordered by the Great Elder to bring him here. Xiao Ling didn't dare to show any disrespect to the Xiao clan's iron guards and spoke in a soft voice. The man took a closer look at Xiaoyan when he heard this. The latter shivered slightly. He could clearly feel a strong ki from the former's body. This ki was not something that the soldiers in star-severing mountain range could compare with. It was the ki of an expert who had experienced life and death. Let him in. Nodding his head, the man waved his hand. The fully alert Xiao clan's iron guards immediately retreated in an orderly manner like a black torrent, leaving behind a passageway that could only accommodate 2 people. Thank you. Xiao Ling smiled sweetly and left with Xiaoyan. The man silently watched the 2 of them leave, staring at Xiaoyan's back. He mumbled to himself, Xiaoyan, what a familiar name. A few days ago, young Master Xiao Yi mentioned it in front of us. Following Xiao Ling, Xiaoyan quickly entered a luxurious courtyard. Along the way, Xiaoyan finally witnessed the strength of the Xiao clan. On the wide road, it was almost like 5 steps per person, 10 steps per person. Each and every one of the iron guards of the Xiao clan wore black profound armor and had a calm expression on their faces. Their auras were long and powerful. Their strength was profound. According to Xiao Ling's words, this place was close to the city of Xiao City. Even if it was a core disciple. As for Yan Jin and Lei Ying, they had entered this place complacently under the special instructions of the Great Elder. Creak. Xiaoyan pushed open the door and stepped inside. He immediately saw 2 middle-aged men strolling around in the courtyard. One of them was wearing a red robe and his hair was also scarlet red. The other was wearing a golden robe and had a determined expression. When they heard the door open, the 2 of them looked towards the door. For a moment, their eyes met. Xiaoyan, the middle-aged man in the golden robe was the first to regain his senses. He shouted out in surprise, and he didn't seem to have the bearing of someone who could shake the heavens and earth in the fighting Dao Qi continent. You have finally come, kid. The middle-aged man in the red robe was stunned for a moment, and then he cried out in pleasant surprise. Because of his excitement, even his beard and hair were trembling. Long time no see, I really miss you. Xiaoyan also laughed out loud. With a flash, he had already arrived beside the 2 of them. Meeting an old friend from fighting Dao Qi continent once again made him incomparably excited. If his father and Zhu Kun knew about this, they would probably be very happy as well. Your strength is already so strong. Seeing Xiaoyan's previous speed, the red-robed Yan Jin's eyelids twitched. He exclaimed in shock. Xiaoyan had only arrived a dozen years earlier than him, but the strength he displayed was many times stronger than theirs. Ha ha! Today, We will be drunk. Xiaoyan laughed and didn't say anything more about this matter. He patted the shoulders of the two passionately and said, "By the way, Xiaoyan, there's something I want to tell you." After the initial excitement, Lei Ying's face suddenly darkened. He gritted his teeth and said. When Yan Jin heard this, his expression also changed, but he still sighed helplessly. "What's wrong?" Sighing, "Could it be that another crisis that none of you can withstand has appeared in Fighting Dao Qi continent?" Xiaoyan saw this and smiled as he joked. "No." Lei Ying smiled bitterly and took a deep breath. Originally, Xiao Sao was also promoted to fighting monarch this time. Xiao Sao, that little girl also advanced to fighting monarch, why didn't she come? That's right. How is teacher? Xiaoyan couldn't help but feel delighted when he heard that. He then asked curiously, "She is here." Xiao Sao came with us, but, in that mysterious space, Xiao Sao was wrapped by a cloud of purple gas. Then, she suddenly disappeared. Yan Jin took over the conversation and said bitterly. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.